Hello, Senior Commander. I am but a humble scientist of the galaxy labeled 31327. However, as an expert in the topic of humans, I would like to give you my full and detailed analysis of the topic. If you wish to only have the conclusion, as you are indeed a very busy individual, then it is this: eradicate all humans before it is too late. There is a tradition which uprises on multiple different planets despite their intelligence. It is the same tradition, almost copied exactly, despite the fact that these planets have had little to no contact with each other. It is no longer as popular as we have achieved more scientific standards, but it seems that all species at one point or another thought of the same way to create the most poisonous substance to exist. The logic is flawed, but nonetheless, you cannot fault these primitive civilizations for thinking this way. It is really simple addition. What they did was collect a mass of poisonous bugs and squish them together, mixing all of their poisons. A couple thousand years ago, me and my colleagues were pondering on this topic, and we wondered if it might be a suitable method in the creation of beings. Our goal was to create the most dangerous creature. Such a project is one scientists do not normally embark on. It was really our scenario which drew us to it. We were all experts in the subject of genetics, but the project we wanted to go about simply didn't get funding, but that was no problem to obtain once we got the military's attention. We knew that we could potentially be unleashing a mayhem on the world, but it is a risk any leading scientist must take up with. Who knows if your research might be used to create the next nuclear bomb or genocide? It was simply a risk we had to contend with. So we gathered the most dangerous creatures from around the world and aimed to manufacture a dangerous creature ourselves. These range from the giants to the tiny plants whose poison is so strong it could wipe out whole planets. But our goal wasn't simply to create a physically dangerous body, but also one which was primed for aggression and war. Therefore, we scavenged out the most psychopathic, insane, aggressive creatures around the world. We had gathered the chromosomes of roughly 120 creatures. We could not simply take the most dangerous part of each one and attach it to one body, creating an abomination. The biological complexities of such a task were far too extreme for such measures. Instead, by inputting the information of their DNA onto a computer, we were able to create simulations of the creatures. First, we meshed the extremes of each creature together, but we found that the creature we created simply consumed too much energy to be kept alive. It had multiple systems for simply killing and keeping them all functioning would require it to continuously eat tons of biomass. So we decided to take the average. If we were to combine all the creatures' data into one, and then take the average out of each metric, we would gain a creature that would be the epitome of destruction, and it was so that the first human was created. We thought that the experiment had been faulty. What stood in front of us was not only weak, but seemed also stupid and afraid. We retried it, but received the same results. The same being, standing in front of us. We could not understand how this was the essence of danger. Oh, how wrong we were. We thought the experiment had been a big failure, but since this creature was so strange, we decided to send it off to what is now referred to as Earth. At the time, it was inhabited mainly by mammals. One of my associates kept track of the humans, and whilst my first impression was that they'd die out, I was proven wrong. Not only did they not die, but they conquered the planet. Let me say that again. They conquered their whole planet. Most intelligent creatures take a spot of land which is enough for their purposes, and then slowly expand outwards as the need arises. Not these creatures. They conquered more land than they had a population to fill. What was worse was that they frequently murdered each other in the most brutal way possible. When you access the human internet, the videos of these acts can easily be found. Their children are taught of these wars in history lessons, and they can even see pictures of the aftermath. Gore is only 4 buttons away from being on a screen, and the most popular network, the news, constantly broadcasts disaster. The humans are drawn to it like moths to a light. Their understanding of science grows at an exponential rate. Their understanding of propaganda and rhetoric is so complex that even I, who am nearly 50 million years old, cannot begin to conceive it. They have written tons, literal tons of literature on war, going so far as to call it an art. What I didn't understand in my young days was that the epitome of danger isn't a large creature with claws and a big mouth. It's the tiny creature that pretends to be your friend but stabs you in the back, that attacks you mentally and that never stops its pursuit, the creature that finds immense joy in the destruction of others. So with all of this stated, I would like to urge you, Senior Commander, to eradicate all of the humans, especially now that they are so close to the technology required for intergalactic travel. Sincerely, Glakesh Kazu.